This week on Retirement Approved, let's talk about the truth about risk tolerance with Matt and Steve Paul. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us here as we talk investing, finance, and retirement. And this week we're going to talk about the truth about risk tolerance, right? So what's going on out there? And obviously with the markets killing it, guys, it's easy to get wrapped up in the hoopla. So let's talk a little bit about how that goes. Steve, welcome in, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired. I just had my first travel tournament with my son's hockey team. So
Nice.
So we were out on the west side of the state this weekend, and it was a long one. So
Oh, good. Well, hopefully they're having fun. That's what matters, right?
exactly,
So they're having a good
exactly.
time. And Matt, my friend,
They didn't win too many games, but they had fun. So
that's all right. That's all right. That's good. And Matt, how you doing?
Same story, except I didn't go as far west as Steve. I went to East Lansing to watch my Sparties lose, but we had fun too.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, it wasn't a good weekend at the time we're taping this for Michigan sports. So we'll just stay away from that. We'll just get into today's conversation. So Matt, set us up. What's the topic here?
Yeah, so let's talk about the truth of risk tolerance. So I wrote a blog last week questioning the concept of risk tolerance in the financial industry, because that one number that gets assigned to your risk tolerance is essentially the foundation to your plan. And that number is based on emotions. So I thought today we'd start with an analogy. Let's say we all went to the casino and we had some money to burn. I give you each $1,000. How are you spending it?
we both bet on the Tigers.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
Well, that didn't work out very well.
All right, we're both sitting at the blackjack table.
Okay, perfect. So
all right, I'll roll with that.
Mark, are you a good blackjack player? Do you know how to split and when to hit and all that?
I'm okay.
Okay, well, let's say you double your money to $2,000 then.
Okay.
And poor Steve over here is cursing up a storm because he's lost, we'll say $500. So he's lost 50%. You made 100%. And then I asked you guys, how are you feeling about your risk profiles today? Steve, I think you're going to be ready to go back and pound some drinks. And Mark, I think you're going to be doubling your bet size and putting more in.
I want to roll. Yeah.
Yeah, not creating the best image of me here. Just cursing up the storm and then getting tanked. What's going on? Come on.
The casino will do that to you.
That's true. And there's no clocks in there, so you lose track of time because they want you to just keep going, right? So I'm with you. I'm gonna double down. I'm feeling good. I'm up to $2,000. So
yeah. So this one night here that we've spent gambling has shown us two things. So number one,
Steve's an alcoholic.
Yep. In Steve's case, recency bias. He looked at his blackjack hands and said, this is not trending in the right direction. I'm out. I'm going to go grab a drink or two or three. And then Mark over here, he's showing us the house money effect. So you've done so well gambling, it's increasing your risk tolerance because you're gambling more and more and more, and you're not really taking in your initial risk tolerance. So both of you within this one night at the casino have drastically changed your risk tolerances. And when you're looking at the market, we're talking weeks, months, years it can change.
And that's why that one number, I mean, we had everyone fill out that packet when they became clients, and it's like, what is your risk tolerance? And we always kind of thought it was silly, because it's what is your risk tolerance in that moment, in that year. And I mean, you look at what I've went through in my career. I go back to 2008, the financial crisis, and we have people fill out that packet. It's like, I don't want to take any risk whatsoever. I'm terrified of the market at this point. And I remember having conversations in 2009, 2010, 2011. It's like, let's get you back up to a 60-40 blend here. 60% equities, 40% bonds. Let's at least get into that. And people were terrified. They didn't even want to do that. They considered that to be aggressive. And now with where we're at in the market, with what we've seen, the recency bias, like Matt talked about, the average returns we've seen over the last 5 years since the pandemic, really, I mean, it's hard to get people to dial back to a 60-40. It's like, no, pedal to the metal. Let's keep going. These 20% returns are going to keep rolling in. We're cutting rates. Let's go. And and that's fine, for some folks that are able to take that kind of risk. But this is the time where you want to kind of sit back and reevaluate. What is your risk tolerance now? What has the last 5 years done for you and your portfolio? If you're early on in retirement, I just had the conversation with multiple clients last week. Hey, we can generate $1,000 more a month now, for the first 10, 15 years of retirement because what we've seen over the last 5 years. So really sit back and kind of reevaluate what your goals are, because everything could change next year. You could say right now I'm aggressive, but next year you could be a very conservative investor again after losing 20%. Who knows what the market has in store for us? That's why we're constantly evaluating risk tolerance and goals for that matter.
Yeah. So we look at risk tolerance as a measure of your emotions at a particular date and time, and that's most certainly going to change. So what we did, we used to do these risk tolerance questionnaires that were like 20, 25 questions long, and I'll pop an image up of one so you can see that we assign numbers, and the higher your total number, the lower your overall risk score would be. But what we found over the years is there's a lot of contradiction just within the risk tolerance that we do. So I kid you not, I pulled up one risk tolerance profile from, I think this was 2016 or 2017, and just looked through it. And then you can literally see question number 5, what's your investment priority? Well, increasing returns, and increasing returns while also reducing risk. And then the next question I ask, well, suppose you lost 20%, your 100 grand investment went down to 80. What would you do? Well, I'd immediately change to a more conservative option. So I appreciate the honesty of this client.
I 100% believe you on this. And I think you did pull this on your very first time, because this was pretty consistent. Increase returns, decrease risk. That's what I'd really like. Can you provide that?
Right.
And then, yeah, I
Isn't
mean,
that life, right? You know?
Yeah, right. And like I said, now is the time to start looking at possible changes within the portfolio. We're just looking to go in and rebalance, again, reevaluate goals, maybe go in and trim some gains that we've seen over the last 5 years, and lock in possibly a new retirement, new income. I mean, we're able to do these things now, where next year or 2 years from now, if you keep pushing the chips in, maybe things change again. So we've been doing that quite a bit for our clients in reviews this year, is just going in and trimming gains and rebalancing. For our clients that haven't come in to see us yet, it's not like we're ignoring your portfolios. We are making changes within the models too, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can't just keep pushing the chips in and waiting until it's too late, because you could get a couple losing hands coming up, and that could eat into a lot of the gains that you've seen over the last 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. We feel brave when things are good and cautious when they're bad, but investing literally rewards the exact opposite of that. So that's why we look at risk as a two-pronged approach. So I'm going to pull up an image here, and for those who can't see it, they're on the audio. This just shows that you need to have a high willingness to take risk, but also a high capacity to take risk. So capacity measures the financial aspect of it, your income needs, your time horizon, and so on. So not everyone can afford to lose 20, 30% of their portfolio in retirement. That's a good situation to be in if you can afford that. But if you don't have a high willingness to take risk and a high capacity to take risk, an aggressive portfolio is probably not going to make a lot of sense for you. You're going to end up in a conservative tier. But if you have a high capacity to take risk, and you don't have a high willingness, you're still going to be conservative, but you might see the numbers and be willing to bump that risk up from conservative to moderate. I know this is all subjective in terms of how much risk you're taking, but that just shows that risk isn't just a feeling in your portfolio. It's got to be backed by facts as well.
Yeah, it's got to have some tangibleness to it, right?
Right.
And again, too. So going back to 2008, a lot of our clients go back to that year. That was one of the worst year that they've ever lived through in terms of their finances taking a hit. And you think of that, and okay, well, I was down 30, 40, 45%, whatever it was. You think about percentage losses. Now, don't think about percentage losses, because back in 2008, you maybe had $500,000 in your 401k. Now you could have a $2 to $3 million portfolio. Think about it in dollar terms. 'Cause I always break that down for clients. It's like, okay, well, are you okay with a 20% loss? Well, I lived through a 40% loss back in 2008. I can handle a 20% loss. It's like,
Right.
okay. So if I'm sitting across from you a year from now and I go, it's okay, we're down $600,000. We'll get it back though. That's going to go well for me. I'm okay. I get a pass there. Well, 600 grand. It's like, you just said 20% loss. You got to think of it in terms of dollar terms. And again, sequence of returns we've seen, if you're lucky enough to retire, 5-6 years ago, and these are the returns that you got up front, or these are the returns that you've received leading into retirement, you have already won. I mean, the sequence of returns that we've seen, the last 5 years, it's been incredible. So again, look to lock in some of those gains. Don't get too greedy. And I know a lot of our clients are kind of feeling that because we're emotional investors. So, when you see years like this, the confidence goes up and the greed goes up with it. So just make sure that you're making the proper adjustments, and you've already won for the last 5 years. Just make sure that you lock in some of those winnings.
Yeah. So when it comes to building a retirement plan, number one, start with capacity modeling. What risk can my plan handle? If it can handle a 30, 40% drawdown, great. But from there, then bring it in based on your tolerance. And I'm going to tell you, both those numbers change annually. We're up 50% in the market over the last 3 years. Your capacity for risk has increased, but has your risk tolerance. So that's where Steve's talking about taking chips off the table, rebalancing. It makes a lot of sense. We do it within our risk managed models, so like our moderate growth or our passive models, but in an account like our strategic equity, which is dividend stocks, or our aggressive growth, which is more growth stocks, those are going to be all stocks all the time. So it might make sense to come in, take some risk off the table within those models by allocating it to a stock bond risk managed model. So number one, start with capacity. Number two, evaluate that risk tolerance annually and rebalance annually.
So it sounds like the ability to handle the risk is maybe center stage versus the capacity.
The opposite of that. So
the opposite of that.
Yeah,
okay.
The capacity is the most important because that sets the guardrails. What are we
Gotcha.
okay with
Okay.
losing? What can we handle losing? And
Gotcha.
then risk tolerance is probably going to bring that in a bit. Not everyone wants to go max out their risk capacity and lose that much, but that's where it's risk tolerance. It changes. So that's the whole theme of the show.
Gotcha.
And it's okay. We're humans. We're all okay with losing some money when we go to the casino, but it's a matter of how many losses can we take, or how many wins can we take without changing our risk tolerance.
Okay. Well, final thoughts?
Yeah. So one thing I want to make clear with this show is we're not calling a market top. We're not saying, hey, the market's going to correct, get funds from your growth portion to your safe portion. We're pretty optimistic on this market and this AI thing, but we could be smacked with a 20-30% loss in a month. We saw that back in April.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that when the market runs so hot for so long, we're pretty much in a 15-year bull market at this point, with the exception of 2022, and 2015 was the sideways years, and of course the COVID dump. But things should change in terms of your risk capacity and your risk tolerance. So we need to measure those and make sure the plan fits your goals, your needs, your wants.
Yeah. You're having the little the angel and the devil on each side, right? Kind of whispering in your ear. It gets tough to deal with. So try not to listen to either one, right? If they're not anchored in the ability to handle things, inabilities, and not just emotion. So as always, if you need some help, reach out to the team at rwpaul.com. And of course, we've got links in the show descriptions below so that you can subscribe to the podcast. You can get some time on the calendar, all sorts of good stuff there that you can go check out. So just click on one of those links and get started today for that review, that consultation, and sit down with the team. And of course, so we got the number on the screen as well. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for checking it out. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like and the thumbs up and the notification bell and all that good stuff, whether it's on audio form, Apple or Spotify, or right here on YouTube. And that way you catch new episodes when they come out of Retirement Approved with Matt and Steve Paul. We'll see you next time.
Retirement Approved is brought to you by Richard W. Paul & Associates, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Throughout the presentation, we may generally discuss different financial vehicles. However, nothing we say should be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle, nor should it be used to make decisions today about your investments or insurance. For full disclosures, check the show notes of today's episode.